Good morning, students. Start with the discussion of chapter Acids, Bases and Salts. First of all, let's discuss the objectives of the chapter. The chapter is divided into three parts. The first part is of the acids. In that, we will study the definition of acid, types of acids, preparation of acids, physical and chemical properties of acids, and uses of acids. The second part is of the bases. In that we will discuss the same thing, that is definition, types, preparation, properties and uses. The third part is of the salts. In that we will discuss the definition of salt, types of salts, preparation of salts and properties of salts. In today's lecture, we will discuss the introduction to acids, bases and salts, definition of an acid and classification of acids. We know that compounds are classified into three distinct classes, that is acids, bases and salts. What are these compounds? Elements that combine in a fixed ratio are known as compounds. For example, hydrochloric acid. In hydrochloric acid, one hydrogen combined with one chlorine to form HCl. Why they are in the ratio 1:1? Because of their valencies. The second example, let's take of zinc chloride. The valency of zinc is +2 and the valency of chlorine is -1. So when they combine in the ratio 1:2. Acids and bases can be identified by their taste or by using indicators. When we identify by their taste, you should know that what is their taste. Acids are sour in taste and bases are bitter in taste. By using indicators such as phenolphthalein, methyl orange, litmus paper, we can actually identify that about acids and bases, or we can perform chemical reactions. But we should keep in mind that all acids and bases are not tasted or touched. For example, sulfuric acid. These acids can be harmful to our body. Students, now let's discuss an activity in which we can determine that the given solution is acidic or basic. In front of you, there are 4 solutions. The first one is a juice. The second one is a soapy solution, that is of the soap. The third one is an acid and the fourth test tube is of baking soda. So how we will come to know that the given solution is acidic or basic? For this, we can use some indicators. The indicators can be phenolphthalein, litmus solution, it can be methyl orange also. These solutions actually change their color when they are dipped in a solution of acid, base or a salt. If you don't have litmus solution, you can also use litmus paper, red litmus paper and blue litmus paper. So let's begin and identify that these solutions are acidic or basic. Before that, we should know that how these indicators are changing color. So litmus paper, when we dip blue litmus paper into an acid, it turns it red. When we dip red litmus paper into a base, it turns it blue. So let's begin. The first solution is a juice solution. So when I dip red litmus paper into it, and when we take out, we find that there is a no change. If I dip blue litmus paper is turning into red. That means juices are acidic in nature. So this solution is acidic. Okay. Moving to the next one. This is a soap solution. When we dip blue litmus into it, no change. If we dip red litmus paper, so let's see what's the change we get. red litmus paper turns into blue. That means it is a base. This is a solution of acid, that is nitric acid, HNO3. So if I dip blue litmus paper, it turns into red. Okay. And in the last one, this was baking soda. So let's take a random blue or red litmus paper and let's be inserted. And it turns into blue. That means baking soda is a base. So like this, we can identify that the solutions are acidic or basic. After litmus solution, let's discuss about phenolphthalein solution. Phenolphthalein in acid remains colorless. The original color of phenolphthalein is also colorless. And in bases, phenolphthalein turns pink. So let's add phenolphthalein solution into these solutions. There's no change in color. That means phenolphthalein in acid is colorless. If I add phenolphthalein here, it's changing into pink. That means it's a base. If I add phenolphthalein, there's no change. That means it is an acid. And if this was baking soda, and if I add phenolphthalein into it, it is turning into pink. That means it is a base. So likewise, we can identify acid and base solutions.
Lavoisier and Davy were the scientists who studied the term acid, bases and salt on more scientific lines. Let's take example of some acids. Sulfuric acid, formula is H2SO4, nitric acid, HNO3, acetic acid, CH3COOH, H2CO3 that is carbonic acid, hydrochloric acid, HCl, hydroiodic acid that is HI, and hydrobromic acid that is HBr. When we see all these acids, we see that the common element here is hydrogen. So with this, Lavoisier and Davy concluded that all acids compulsorily have hydrogen as their constituent element in the form of proton, that is H positive, that every acid is having hydrogen in its structure. For bases, let's first take some examples. The examples are like copper oxide, sodium hydroxide NaOH, potassium hydroxide KOH, and ammonium hydroxide. The common thing we are seeing here is the anion, that is OH. So when there is bases, OH is always there, and oxide with the metal or with an ammonium ion. Okay, so the OH, the hydroxide part, or the oxide when it is present with metal or ammonium ion, that way then we will tell that the compound is a base. So same thing Lavoisier and Davy has concluded, that all bases are either metallic oxide or metallic hydroxide or ammonia solution. For salts, let's first take a reaction. HCl and NaOH, they combine together to form NaCl and H2O. The hydrogen part of the acid and OH part of the base will react to form water, and what is formed here is salt. So HCl is an acid, NaOH is a base. They combine together to form NaCl, which is a salt. So acid and a base combine to form salt. Let's take another example. Copper oxide combining with H2SO4 to give you copper sulfate and water. In this, similarly, hydrogen part of the acid is reacting with the oxide part, the anion part of the base to form water, and the left part is forming the copper sulfate. So we can conclude that all salts are chemical compounds formed by the interaction of acids and bases, wherein hydrogen ions present in an acid are replaced by metallic ions or non-metallic ions of ammonium ions. So what we can see here is that hydrogen ion. This is the hydrogen ion H2SO4. In H2SO4, H is replaced by copper. So like this the salts are formed. Now why these compounds are called acids? So the word acid comes from Latin word acidus, means sour. We also know that some foods are sour in taste. So the foods that are sour in taste, why they are sour in taste? Because they contain some acids. For example, lemon, vinegar, tomato. Now, for further discussion, let us first consider the ionization of HCl in presence of water. When HCl dissolves in water, it forms hydronium ion and chlorine anion. Now, let's discuss first that what happens. HCl in presence of water will form H positive and Cl negative. Remember this. So, when this H plus, the H positive which is being formed here, it will be reacting with water or combining with water to form hydronium ion. Similarly, the next example, that is of acetic acid. Acetic acid also in similar manner, in presence of water, it will form acetate ion and H positive ion. The H positive ion which is there, it will combine with water and form hydronium ion. In similar case, when sulfuric acid is reacting with water, it will form two ions. One is this HSO4 minus and the another one is H positive. The H positive that we are getting from an acid will combine with water and form hydronium ion. Now there are two hydrogens in this, so it will be ionizing in two steps. The second step will be like this. This HSO4 will again in presence of water will form sulfate ion and H positive. H positive will combine with water and form hydronium ion. So with this, what we can conclude that now in this what is used? Water is used, and what is formed? Hydronium ion is formed. So accordingly, let's first discuss the definition. Acids are defined as the compounds which contain one or more hydrogen atoms. We have already seen acids are containing hydrogen atom, and when they are dissolved in water, they produce hydronium ions as the only positively charged ion. So when we are seeing this reaction, positively charged ion is hydronium ion. The other one is the negatively charged ion. So what is required? Acid should have hydrogen. In presence of water, it will form hydronium ion. What is the structure of hydronium ion? It is there in front of you now. Hydronium ion is a coordinate compound. Why we are saying that it is a coordinate compound? Because the lone pairs from oxygen are donated to one of the hydrogen. This structure is very important. So have a look. Now the next topic let's move to, and in that we are going to study the classification of acids. Acids are classified on the basis of, the first one is source, the second one is molecular composition, the third one is concentration, and the fourth one is strength, and the fifth one is basicity. In today's class we will study about the source, molecular composition and concentration of the acid. On the basis of sources of acids, first take minerals as a source. When we take minerals as a source, when we take iron pyrites and rock salt, from iron pyrites we know that sulfuric acid is produced, and from rock salt HCl acid is produced. Let's take some another example. Rather than minerals, that is tomatoes, then citrus fruits like orange, grapes. These are from plant sources. So on the basis of sources, there can be two types, like one is mineral sources and one is plant sources. When it is mineral sources, then they are known as inorganic acids. So the acids that are obtained from minerals are known as inorganic acids, and the acids that are obtained from plants are known as organic acid. So remember this. So what are organic acids and inorganic acids? So let's have a look quickly. Organic acids are obtained usually from plants. We have already studied that part. Inorganic acids are obtained usually from minerals. They contain carbon atom along with hydrogen atom, and inorganic acids do not contain carbon atom. We can see these examples are up. H2SO4, HNO3, HCOH, CH3COH, H2CO3, HCl, HI, HBr. Now in these examples, the acids that are containing carbon, that means formic acid and acetic acid, they are organic acid. The acids that are not containing carbon are known as inorganic acids, and they are obtained from minerals. But here is an exception, H2CO3. H2CO3 is carbonic acid. It contains carbon, but we do not study it under organic acids because its properties are entirely different from that of organic acids. So it is an inorganic acid. So this is an exception. Let's move further. Organic acids are weak acids. Why they are weak? Because they do not ionize completely in the solution. They do not form ions completely. They will be in their molecular form as well. So they contain ions as well as molecules. Inorganic acids are strong acids and ionize completely in the solution. And if they are ionizing completely, they are forming ions completely. So their solution will contain only ions. Let's quickly have a look at the examples of organic acids. First one, let's take of oxalic acid. Oxalic acid is present in tomatoes. Remember this because this is a board question as well, that which acid is present in which food. Tartaric acid in grapes, formic acid in sting of bees, citric acid in citrus fruits like lemon, oranges, etc. Examples of inorganic acids: hydrochloric acid is obtained from rock salt, sulfuric acid is obtained from iron pyrites. Next classification is based on molecular composition of an acids. Before that, let's take some examples. H2SO4, that is sulfuric acid, nitric acid, formic acid, acetic acid, H2CO3, that is carbonic acid, HCl, HI, HBr. So these are some examples of acids that are there in front of you. When we see these acids, we find that hydrogen is the common element in these acids. But along with hydrogen, there is some non-metals like sulfur, nitrogen, carbon, Cl, that is chlorine, iodine, bromine. But one more thing that we can notice here is that some of the acids contain oxygen and some of the acids do not contain oxygen. So the acids that contain oxygen are known as oxyacids, and the acids that do not contain oxygen are known as hydroacids. So the acids that contain oxygen are known as oxyacids, as we have already discussed. So what are oxyacids? Oxyacids are the acids which contain oxygen along with hydrogen and some other elements like a non-metal. For example, sulfuric acid, nitric acid, acetic acid, carbonic acid, and so on. And so what are hydroacids? Hydroacids are the acids which contain hydrogen and a non-metallic element and no oxygen. So the acids that do not contain oxygen are known as hydroacid. For example, HCl, HI, HBr. Let's discuss the next type of acid on the basis of concentration. But before that, you should know what is solution. When solute dissolves in a solvent, it forms solution. Okay. So when solute is dissolved in a solvent, it solute can be liquid or it can be solid. It is dissolved in a solvent and it will give rise to a solution. Supposing salt is dissolved in water, the thing which is formed, it is known as a solution. But you should know what are the types of solution. There are two types of solution: concentrated solution and dilute solution. What do you understand by the term concentrated? Concentrated means the solution that have more amount of solute and less amount of solvent. So remember this, when solute is more and solvent is less, it is known as concentrated. And what is dilute? When solute is in a small amount and the solvent is in a large amount, then the solution is known as dilute solution. You can also see the color. Here the solute particles are near to each other. The color of the solution is very dark. Here the solvent is more. Solute particles are far away from each other. And the solution is light in color. So this is concentrated and dilute. On the basis of this, acids are also of two types, that is concentrated acid and dilute acid. What is concentrated acid? Concentrated acid is defined as an acid which contains a small amount of water or no water. So there is solvent is very less, that is water is a solvent here. The water is in a very small amount and acid is in a large amount, or there can be no water also, and that type of solution is known as concentrated acid. The next one is dilute acid. So in a dilute acid, already we have discussed, the solute will be in small amount and solvent will be large. So dilute acid is defined as an acid which contains a small amount of acid and a large amount of water. On the basis of today's lecture, you can solve the questions which are there in front of you.